Welcome to Life Tells Stories, your go-to channel for heartfelt journeys of self-discovery, legacy, and the transformative power of community. Today, we dive into the emotional and inspiring story of Amelia Thompson, a driven executive whose life takes an unexpected turn when she returns to her small hometown. Her journey of growth and connection teaches us how to embrace our roots and reshape our lives. Have you ever faced a moment that forced you to rethink everything you thought you knew? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to Life Tells Stories and hit that like button to stay connected with more inspiring narratives just like this one. Amelia Thompson is the embodiment of ambition. At 45, she's the youngest vice president of a prestigious investment firm in New York City, a remarkable achievement that makes her the envy of many. Her corner office in Midtown Manhattan overlooks a breathtaking skyline, a daily reminder of how far she's come from her humble beginnings in the small coastal town of Seab, Maine. Amelia's life is a constant cycle of high-stakes meetings, polished suits, and late nights in front of spreadsheets. She thrives in this fast-paced environment, where her sharp mind and strategic approach keep her ahead of the competition. Despite her professional success, her life is defined by long hours, missed family calls, and an emotional disconnect from the people who once mattered to her. Her world is one of accomplishments, but also isolation, the price she pays for her success. Amelia's drive comes from a need to prove herself. She's worked tirelessly to rise above her small-town upbringing, seeking validation from her peers and striving to build a career that her late father would have admired. Her corner office, her designer suits, and her high-status title are all symbols of the life she has crafted, a life that she believes defines who she is. Yet beneath the surface, there's an unspoken emptiness. Her carefully constructed life leaves little room for personal connections. Amelia's desire to prove herself keeps her constantly moving, leaving no time for introspection or emotional vulnerability. This life of calculated ambition is about to take a drastic turn, as an unexpected event will soon force Amelia to confront everything she has built and everything she has neglected. Amelia's meticulously planned life comes crashing down when she receives news of her mother Eleanor's sudden passing. With no will left behind, Amelia must travel back to her hometown of Seab, Maine, to settle her mother's affairs and claim her inheritance. It's a journey she's avoided for years. Her connection to her mother has always been complicated, filled with unresolved arguments and deep-seated emotions she'd rather not face. In the days leading up to Eleanor's death, Amelia had ignored her mother's desperate attempts to reach her. The urgency in Eleanor's voice is something Amelia now cannot shake, a haunting reminder of her neglect. The messages left by Eleanor hint at something important, a matter of life and death, urging Amelia to return home. There's a feeling of guilt that settles in Amelia's chest as she makes the decision to go back, one that she's tried to suppress but can no longer ignore. Returning to Seab, Amelia expects a quick, practical resolution to settle her mother's estate. Instead, she finds herself surrounded by memories of her past and faced with emotions she hasn't confronted in years. The town's slow pace, friendly faces, and old landmarks feel like a different world compared to her life in New York. The tension between the town she grew up in and the life she's built for herself marks the beginning of a journey she never anticipated, a journey that will take her beyond mere financial matters and into the heart of her family's secrets. Returning to Seab feels like stepping back in time. The air smells of salt and pine, and the familiar landscape is both comforting and deeply unsettling. The modest two-story house where she grew up stands with peeling paint and an overgrown garden, reflecting how time has taken its toll. Every corner of the town, every street she drives through brings back a flood of memories, some good, many painful. Amelia can't help but think about the last time she visited her mother, how they'd argued, and the sharp words exchanged in frustration. The distance between Amelia and Eleanor had grown over the years. The more Amelia excelled in her career, the more she distanced herself from her mother's simple way of living. Seabreeze had always seemed too small for Amelia, a place with limits she was determined to overcome. But now, standing in her childhood home, she is struck by the weight of what she left behind. The mother who never stopped loving her, the memories she'd pushed aside, and the parts of herself that she never made peace with. Seabreeze hasn't changed much. The town is still filled with small shops, fishermen at the docks, and friendly neighbors who greet each other on Main Street. Amelia's old room remains largely untouched, filled with relics of her past, books she once loved, photographs from high school, and trophies from debate competitions. She's reminded of the simpler version of herself, the girl who dreamed big, but never imagined the kind of sacrifices that would come with chasing those dreams. Amelia is now faced with the daunting task of settling her mother's affairs and confronting the reality of what she had left behind. Her mother's love, her own regrets, and a town that still feels like home, despite the years she spent running from it. As Amelia sorts through her mother's belongings, she stumbles upon a small, ornate box that Eleanor had been holding onto tightly in her final moments. The box is unlike anything Amelia remembers from her childhood, and it carries an air of mystery that piques her curiosity. Opening it reveals old photographs, faded letters, and mementos that suggest there's far more to her mother's life than Amelia ever knew. The photographs show a younger Eleanor, smiling alongside people Amelia doesn't recognize. There are letters addressed to her mother from someone named Robert, a name she had never heard Eleanor mention before. The letters speak of sacrifices, of promises made and broken, hinting at secrets that have been buried for years. The contents of the box reveal a side of Eleanor that Amelia had never taken the time to understand, a side that was deeply connected to the community of Seabreeze and to people Amelia had never met. Eleanor's words, captured in one particularly emotional letter, express regret and hope, a hope that Amelia would someday understand the choices she had made. This newfound knowledge unsettles Amelia, raising questions about who her mother really was, what secrets she carried, and what this mysterious connection to Robert means for her family's legacy. The box becomes the key to understanding Eleanor's life, and Amelia's journey to uncover the truth is just beginning. Amelia's journey takes an unexpected turn when she meets with her mother's attorney, Samuel Brooks. He reveals that Eleanor left specific conditions tied to the inheritance, conditions that Amelia must fulfill before she can receive anything. One of the primary conditions is that Amelia must stay in Seabreeze for a full year and oversee the transformation of an old, abandoned building into a community center. The news hits Amelia hard. The idea of staying in Seabreeze, a place she had worked so hard to leave, feels like a step backward. The project Eleanor set up involves much more than just financial logistics. It's about reconnecting with the community and carrying on her mother's legacy of service. The building, the old Miller property, is falling apart, and the task of turning it into a thriving community space seems impossible. But Samuel insists that Eleanor was adamant about this condition, believing that it was the key to bringing Amelia back to her roots. The Community Center project is more than just a building. It's a symbol of everything Eleanor stood for. It represents her belief in the power of community and her hope for Amelia to embrace the values she'd left behind. Faced with this challenge, Amelia is at a crossroads. She can either walk away from everything, leaving her mother's vision unfulfilled, or she can take on the responsibility and discover what her mother saw in Seabreeze that was worth staying for. In that moment, Amelia makes a reluctant but life-changing decision to stay and honor her mother's wishes. Amelia reluctantly embarks on the daunting task of transforming the old Miller building into a vibrant community center. From the moment she steps inside, the building feels like an overwhelming challenge. The ceilings are cracked, the windows are broken, and the place is filled with dust and debris. It's a far cry from the pristine offices Amelia is used to in New York. Yet, as she stands there, she begins to understand the magnitude of what her mother envisioned. With the help of locals like Jake, a dedicated handyman and longtime friend of her mother, Amelia starts to make progress. She learns that Eleanor had been quietly funding several community initiatives, donating to the local school, supporting struggling families, and helping people find jobs. The more Amelia learns, the more she realizes that her mother was a pivotal figure in the town, someone who gave without expecting anything in return. Amelia's skills as a corporate executive come into play as she navigates the complex logistics of the renovation. She organizes fundraising events, meets with local business owners, and uses her negotiating skills to secure supplies. But this project is unlike anything she's ever done before. It requires more than just efficiency. It requires empathy, patience, and the ability to connect with people on a personal level. It's not about making a profit or closing the deal. It's about building something meaningful for the people who live here. As the community center slowly begins to take shape, Amelia finds herself growing closer to the people of Seabreeze. The once daunting project becomes a labor of love, and for the first time in years, Amelia feels a sense of purpose beyond her career. She starts to understand why her mother loved this town so deeply and why she had dedicated her life to helping others. Just as Amelia begins to find her footing, she's faced with an unexpected challenge, a legal battle that threatens to derail everything she's worked for. Robert Caldwell, a man she knows only from the letters she found in Eleanor's box, appears in Seabreeze, claiming that he has a rightful stake in the property Eleanor left behind. Robert, it turns out, was not just a friend but her father's half-brother, a family connection that Eleanor had kept secret for years. Robert's intentions are clear. He wants to sell the property for profit, disregarding the community's needs and Eleanor's wishes. He contests the will, claiming that Eleanor did not have the legal right to leave the property solely to Amelia. This revelation brings to light the complicated and painful history between Robert and Amelia's father, John. Their strained relationship and unresolved business dealings have now resurfaced, with Amelia caught in the middle. Faced with the possibility of losing the community center, Amelia must make a choice: to give in to Robert's demands and walk away, or to fight for her mother's legacy. With the help of Samuel Brooks, her mother's attorney, and the support of the community, Amelia decides to stand her ground. The legal battle is intense, filled with accusations, courtroom drama, and unexpected revelations about her family's past. Through this conflict, Amelia learns more about her father's past, his struggles, his mistakes, and his desire to protect his family. She begins to understand why Eleanor kept certain secrets and why she had fought so hard to build something good out of the challenges they faced. The legal battle becomes more than just a fight for property. It's a fight for her family's honor and her mother's dream of creating a lasting impact in Seabreeze. As the legal battle with Robert intensifies, Amelia turns to the people of Seabreeze for support. She organizes town meetings, shares her mother's vision, and reaches out to those whose lives were touched by Eleanor's generosity. The community's response is overwhelming. People come forward to speak about the ways Eleanor helped them. The single mother who received assistance to pay her bills, the teenager who got a scholarship, the elderly man whose house was repaired thanks to Eleanor's quiet donations. The stories are heartfelt and powerful, and they galvanize Amelia to keep fighting. The people of Seabreeze rally behind her, raising funds for the legal fees, signing petitions, and even offering to help with the ongoing renovation of the community center. Jake becomes an important ally, standing by Amelia's side and helping her navigate the challenges of both the courtroom and the construction site. This newfound connection with the community is transformative for Amelia. She begins to see Seabreeze not just as the place she grew up, but as a community worth fighting for, a place filled with people who care for each other and are willing to stand up for what's right. It's a stark contrast to the competitive, individualistic world she left behind in New York. If Amelia's journey so far resonates with you, let us know in the comments. Share your own experiences of community support, and let's keep this conversation going. Amelia's search for answers leads her to uncover a photograph of her father, John, standing with a woman named Alina. someone she had never heard of before. The photograph, dated years before Amelia was born, shows a side of her father she never knew. Digging deeper, Amelia finds letters written by Elena to her father, revealing a deep connection between them that had been hidden from Amelia her entire life. The letters speak of promises made and broken, of a complicated relationship that predated John's marriage to Eleanor. It becomes clear that Elena was more than just a friend. She was a significant part of John's life, a part that he had kept secret from his family. Amelia's discovery raises more questions than answers. Why had her father kept this secret? And what role did Elena play in the choices he made later in life? As Amelia pieces together the story, she begins to see her parents in a new light. Her father's past, his relationship with Elena, and his strained connection with Robert all played a role in shaping the family she grew up in. Eleanor's decision to keep certain things hidden was an effort to protect Amelia, to shield her from the complexities of their past, and to give her a chance at a better future. This newfound understanding changes Amelia's perspective. She realizes that her parents' choices were made out of love, even if they were flawed. The secrets, the sacrifices, and the struggles were all part of a larger story, a story of resilience, redemption, and the desire to create something good out of pain. The more she learns, the more determined she becomes to honor her mother's memory and continue the work Eleanor started. The final showdown in court is both intense and emotionally charged. Robert Caldwell, determined to win, presents evidence of financial irregularities in Eleanor's accounts. He paints a picture of Eleanor as someone who mismanaged funds and questions her ability to leave the property to Amelia. But Amelia, armed with the truth and the support of the community, is ready to fight back. Samuel Brooks calls witnesses who testify to Eleanor's character, people who speak of her generosity, her sacrifices, and her tireless efforts to support those in need. The turning point comes when Jake introduces Rita, an older woman who had been close friends with Eleanor for decades. Rita reveals the truth behind the so-called financial irregularities. Eleanor had been part of an underground network that helped women escape abusive situations. The money she moved around was used to protect those who needed it most, often putting herself at risk in the process. Rita's testimony changes everything. The courtroom falls silent as people absorb the gravity of what Eleanor had done. She wasn't just a generous community member. She was a hero, someone who had risked everything to help others. Amelia stands up, addressing the court, and presents the letter she found in her father's belongings. A letter that proves John had given up his share of the business to protect the property for Eleanor and Amelia. The judge takes all of the evidence into consideration, and after a tense wait, the verdict is announced. Eleanor's will is upheld, and the property belongs to Amelia. The community center can go forward, and Amelia's fight to protect her mother's legacy is victorious. After the trial, Amelia feels an overwhelming sense of relief and gratitude. She's no longer the person who left Seabreeze all those years ago. She's found a purpose beyond her career, a community that she's proud to be a part of, and a legacy she's determined to honor. She's built real connections, learned to trust others, and embraced the values her mother had tried so hard to instill in her. Amelia and Jake, who have grown closer through the challenges they faced together, share a quiet moment after the trial. Their relationship, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to the community, has blossomed into something more. It's not the life Amelia imagined for herself, but it's the life she now realizes she's always wanted. Amelia Thompson's journey from a high-powered executive to a beloved community leader is a powerful testament to the enduring importance of legacy, love, and the deep connection we have to our roots. Her story shows that true success isn't about titles or material wealth, but about the lives we touch, the people we help, and the impact we make. Amelia's transformation from an ambitious career woman to a compassionate leader demonstrates that sometimes the greatest achievements come not from what we build for ourselves, but from what we build for others. Amelia's ability to balance ambition with empathy serves as an inspiring example for all of us. It reminds us that while pursuing our dreams is important, we must also remember the people and places that shaped us. Her journey challenges us to think about the kind of legacy we want to leave behind and how we can use our talents to make a positive impact in the world. Thank you for joining us on this emotional and inspiring journey through Amelia's story. If you found her transformation as moving as we did, please subscribe to Life Tells Stories and like this video to support our channel. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How have your roots shaped who you are today? Remember, every story has the power to inspire and connect us. Until next time, keep embracing your own stories and stay tuned for more heartfelt narratives right here on Life Tells Stories. Goodbye and take care. Thank you once again for watching and being a part of the Life Tells Stories community. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more inspiring stories with you. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay connected, and remember that your story matters. Goodbye and take care.